The US should lead in the Indo-Pacific, the US should lead in Europe, the US should lead in the Middle East. This is America's official strategy. The US should seek to win, not just manage, against China and Russia. The US should deter Iran and North Korea and terrorist groups. For the fiscal year 2024, the US defense budget is projected to be around $876 billion without counting the military aids to Ukraine and Taiwan. The US defense budget is increasingly focused on countering the influence and military expansion of China and Russia. For example, the Indo-Pacific region has been a priority, with greater funding directed toward the US Navy and Air Force to counter China's growing military presence in the South China Sea. In 2024 budget, the US Air Force is expected to receive around $225 billion, especially with the ongoing investments in fighter jets like the F-35 and the B-21 Raider bomber and drones. While the US Navy is expected to receive around $250 billion of the total defense budget. A significant part of the Navy's budget goes toward the procurement and maintenance of ships, submarines, and auxiliary vessels. This includes the construction of submarines, Ford-class aircraft carriers, and Ehrlich-Berkey-class destroyers. The US Navy is increasing its focus on the development of hypersonic weapons, which are designed to travel at speed greater than 5 times the speed of sound. These weapons are viewed as essential for keeping pace with advanced capabilities of adversaries, particularly China and Russia. As the Pentagon seeks to address these new wars and developments along with consistently rising costs like salaries and healthcare for troops and civilians, the $1 trillion figure may draw new scrutiny to the defense budget, including questions about where to cut and where it's falling short. The US today spends more on its military and weapon system than the next 10 countries combined, including China and Russia. At the same time, the Defense Department has trouble tracking its $3.8 trillion in assets, failing its 6th consecutive audit last year. The Marine Corps became the first and so far only armed service to pass an audit in February. Defense spending would have to increase by roughly $25 billion annually to keep pace with inflation. This means the US is on track to reach $1 trillion defense budget within the next few years, regardless of supplemental spendings. And that's just discretionary defense spending, which excludes mandatory bills such as veterans benefits. Given all these costly failures and this abhorrent track record for fiscal accountability in the military-industrial complex, how much more defense are taxpayers actually going to get?